Matthew. I don't know, is Matthew still here? Is he got the?
He just left.
He just left. Okay. So we've got. I've met Matthew. Hannah's husband Matthew is a young organic farmer, and it's a pretty big farm. But him and I have had a chance to talk, right? So I don't have all of the answers yet about what's best and isn't best. The not so good news is I'm not saying it's too late. I'm not. Don't say, well, Erik said it's too late. But the smaller farm, it's getting harder and harder and harder and harder and harder. Just input cost. Corn's $3.65, right? When I was a banker, it was $7, and I was telling people to sell their corn at $7, and that was 20 years ago. So the math is getting harder and harder and harder for those smaller farms to survive. So I don't know exactly what the right procedures are, but admitting that I don't know and being willing to learn more about it, that's a good first step. And meeting, I met Matthew in his field, right? And I've met others in there, meeting people where they're at. So again, you and I can talk more and more. What I will say is I believe the people that work the land, like, we need to respect that.
Yes.
Right? There's an ethos there. And I do have a conservationist mindset, like a 7-generation mindset, right? Like, let's not worry about what's good for next summer. Let's worry about the next 4 generations. How are we gonna, we only get one shot at this as far as Mother Earth is concerned. And we gotta make sure that we're not putting profit over good, solid practices. So that's my response to that.
Erik, that admitting and being honest, I want to highlight that again. There are 1,200 lakes in Minnesota, south central Minnesota.
Yeah.
My family's namesake, Lake Ramel, down in Waseca County, it's dead.
Yeah.
There's 1,200, this is corporate ag. And again, and how did they make their namesake in the 1850s to now? Through tiling.
Right.
And perverting the land. And again, I'm not trying to make some autopsy on this catastrophe. It's like, what do we do beyond that? But what I'm saying is, as much as we may dig an Amy Klobuchar or an Al Franken, they went for years and took bags of money from corporate ag and didn't do shit.
Right.
And only Governor Dayton was, in my lifetime, had the audacity to say, maybe we should bring back buffer zones.
Yeah.
Right? So more so for me, and is, I want to know, not now, brother, just food for thought moving forward, is it is an issue for people that are thinking beyond corporate ag in this district.
Understood. Yep, heard and felt.
Wayne, you're at number 4 on swear words. All right.
We got a hand up over there. Yeah.
Is there a swear jar in the house?
Yeah, it's right over on that table. It's on that table, Wayne. It's on that table, Wayne. John?
Old people are going to vote.
Yes, sir.
What are you going to do to reach out to young people? Because many of them who I talk to say it doesn't make any difference who we have. It's, I'm not going to vote. They're just not going to vote.
So good question. So the first thing is trying to meet them, and this kind of applies to any demographic, right? Meeting them where they're at. I was at SMSU last night, right? Now, I asked, I don't know who else, I was talking to Andy, I think on the way home, I said, could we do like a kegger? Is that legal? Can we play beer pong? Like, is that allowed? I don't think it is. But what I'm saying is, the good news is, logistically speaking, and this isn't groundbreaking or earth-shattering, right? But going to there's a lot of college campuses in our district, and a lot of, beyond the 4-year liberal arts colleges, right? There's technical colleges. I used to work construction. You know, I've worn steel-toed boots. I respect the blue-collar industries. So what I'm getting at is trying to meet them where they're at, and at least listening before telling them what I think they should think, if that makes any sense. Now, we have to improve on that. That's an area of improvement for us. We need to make this college listening tour, we need to make it fun, we need to make it cool, we need to make it hip. The other thing is, I'm pretty good at social media.
Yes.
That's what I do for a living. My day job right now, that's what I do, is I build brands on social media. The not so good news is I'm not great at TikTok, right? I'm 53 years old, right? I'm an old man playing a young person's game. But I understand the value of communicating with this thing, and we've got some tricks up our sleeves as far as that goes. So what I'm getting at is it's a combination of trying to create these face-to-face opportunities, what they look like, that'll evolve, that'll change, we'll adapt. But then also trying to speak a language that they speak, and trying to and admitting that we need to be there and we need to be better at it. The other thing about this campaign is improvement is the goal, not perfection. Have any of you ever heard of our fish fries? Has anybody been to a fish fry? We haven't done very okay. So, right. The first fish fry we had, my poor wife. If you ever see my wife, just give her a hug and say thank you. The first fish fry we had, I said, honey, we were both really stressed out. I said, honey, we're about to go fail publicly. That's what this is. We're gonna go fail publicly, and then we're gonna fail again, and then we're gonna fail again. We're gonna fail fast and fail often. What I'm getting at is, even though our first college listening tour wasn't perfection, that's not the goal. The goal is for the next listening tour stop to be better, and the next one to be better than that, and the next. But so by the time we get to MSUM or whatever the last, you know what I'm saying? We've figured this out and we've tried to make it a little bit better. Between that and social media,
We have one here.
Yeah.
Well, I was just gonna, the DFL doesn't connect with young people, so it's kind of on you guys. The DFL doesn't connect with young people. So how can you ask Eric to connect with young people if the DFL doesn't reach out to them?
We're working on it. We're working on it.
Eric's doing an okay job.
We're doing okay. Yep. We had a couple questions back here.
Yep, right here.
Yep.
So I'm Jane, and one of my things that constantly I'm part of a governor group, and it's the campaign reform.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And how, I know it's not one of the top three, but until we can get away from some of this money to make it be so that you can be heard from the people and all people.
Yeah.
What are some things that you're thinking we could bring to that?
We need to end Citizens United. Like that needs to end. Like that's day one stuff, right? And it's again in the spirit of full transparency. My dad is 82 years old and he works full time and he's a salesman and he's a good salesman, right? And so his role on the team is he's part of the fundraising team because he's a salesman, right? He's like, Eric, we got to go get this corporate. I'm like, Dad, no. Like that, yes, that is a path, but that's not the road that we want to go down. So ending Citizens United, our new political director, right? When him and I talk about issues, he reminds me, if we don't do campaign finance, that's why nothing has gotten changed. That's why nothing has changed over the last years, is because of the money, because of where the money comes from, and because of who people are. I want, as Alyssa said, I want to be beholden to you. I don't want to be beholden to Corporation XYZ. And so again, the only thing I can control right now is my actions. And so that's why we've taken the stance we had. But you're 100% right, Citizens United needs to end. That's all, we need to get rid of it.
I'll just say that friend of ours on the team is Todd.
Yes.
Todd is doing a great job.
So Todd, I've mentioned we have a new political director. His name is Todd Preeb. Again, he's worked on 6 congressional campaigns. He was a campaign manager of a congressional campaign in Iowa that is eerily similar to this. They didn't win just because of the makeup of the district, right? The ruralness of that district. They didn't win, but they got it to like 52-48.